Welcome to the Network Plus Prepcast, your dedicated audio companion for mastering every objective on the CompTIA Network Plus certification exam. This series is produced by baremetalcyber.com. Detection and prevention are two sides of the same cybersecurity coin. While detection tools can identify threats and raise alerts, most successful breaches still involve a human element, someone clicking on a malicious link, falling for a phishing scam, or misconfiguring a security setting. In today's threat landscape, technology is powerful but incomplete without human awareness. Organizations must build a defense model that integrates both technical solutions and ongoing user education. Together, they create a security posture capable of recognizing, resisting, and responding to threats as they emerge. In this episode, we explore how detection tools like intrusion detection systems, endpoint monitoring, and behavior analytics support technical defense. But we also dive into the human side of security, how user training, awareness simulations, and cultural reinforcement can dramatically reduce risk. Both areas are essential not just for real-world protection, but also for the certification exam. You'll be expected to understand detection tool functions, differences between monitoring types, and the importance of awareness programs across various roles and departments. Intrusion detection and prevention systems are key components in a layered defense architecture. An intrusion detection system, or IDS, monitors network or host activity and alerts administrators when suspicious behavior occurs. It does not take direct action to block traffic, making it ideal for environments where observation and correlation are the focus. In contrast, an intrusion prevention system, or IPS, actively blocks or drops malicious packets in real time based on predefined rules or behavior signatures. Both systems can be deployed at the network perimeter or on specific hosts, depending on the organization's risk profile and resource availability. Detection methods typically fall into two categories: signature-based and anomaly-based. Signature-based detection uses known patterns of malicious activity, such as specific byte sequences or file hashes, to identify threats. This approach is highly effective against known attacks, but is blind to new or altered ones. Anomaly detection, on the other hand, focuses on behavior that deviates from an established baseline. It flags unusual actions, like a user logging in at 3 a.m. from an unfamiliar location, or a sudden spike in outbound traffic. When combined, signature and anomaly detection provide stronger coverage, balancing the reliability of known threat detection with the flexibility to identify zero-day or insider threats. Endpoint detection and response, or EDR, extends visibility to individual devices. EDR solutions monitor endpoint activity, including file access, registry changes, process execution, and network usage. They continuously collect telemetry data and flag indicators of compromise. Most EDR platforms also include response capabilities such as isolating the device, terminating processes, or rolling back changes. EDR is essential for catching threats that bypass perimeter defenses and for investigating how an attack began, what systems were touched, and how to recover without spreading further infection. Security information and event management systems, commonly known as SIEM platforms, bring multiple detection sources together into one centralized environment. SIEM aggregates data from firewalls, intrusion systems, EDR tools, and authentication logs to correlate events and detect complex attack chains. By analyzing relationships between events, SIEM can uncover attacks that no single tool would detect on its own. It also supports security investigations and compliance reporting by maintaining searchable logs and producing detailed incident timelines. Real-time analysis and historical reviews serve different but equally important purposes in detection. Real-time monitoring allows for immediate threat detection and mitigation, reducing the chance that an attacker can establish persistence or exfiltrate data. Historical analysis, however, is necessary for reviewing what occurred after an incident. Logs from days or weeks prior can help identify root causes, scope of exposure, and gaps in policy. Historical data also supports compliance with industry regulations, which may require documentation of events and responses over extended periods. User and Entity Behavior Analytics, or UEBA, takes detection a step further by establishing behavioral baselines for users and systems. Over time, UEBA solutions learn what constitutes normal activity for each user or group and identify outliers, such as excessive data downloads, abnormal login hours, or unexpected use of administrative privileges. These alerts are especially valuable in zero-trust environments, where internal users are not inherently trusted and continuous validation is required. UEBA can also help detect insider threats that traditional tools might miss because the behavior technically uses valid credentials. Training users effectively is just as critical as deploying technology. A well-structured security awareness program teaches users to recognize threats, follow best practices, and respond appropriately to suspicious behavior. Training should cover common topics like phishing, social engineering, password hygiene, safe browsing, and data handling procedures. But it must also be relevant and engaging. Interactive content, real-world examples, and short training sessions are more effective than dry lectures or long policy documents. Repeating training at regular intervals helps reinforce learning and adapt to evolving threat landscapes. Simulated attacks offer a powerful way to test the effectiveness of user training. Phishing simulations are the most common, in which fake, malicious emails are sent to employees to see who clicks, who reports, and who ignores them. These tests help identify training gaps, risky behaviors, and improvement opportunities. Simulation data can also drive targeted follow-up training for users who fall for these tests. Over time, simulations improve not only individual awareness, but also organizational readiness by fostering a culture of caution and accountability. Metrics for evaluating the success of a security training program must go beyond course completion rates. More meaningful indicators include a reduction in user-caused security incidents, an increase in proactive reporting of suspicious activity, and improved performance on internal phishing or awareness tests. These metrics help demonstrate return on investment and justify continued investment in education. Security awareness is not a one-time task. It's a continuous process that must evolve as threats become more sophisticated and employees take on new responsibilities. For more cyber content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Security awareness programs are only effective when paired with strong reporting mechanisms and a culture that encourages users to speak up. Organizations must make it easy for users to report suspicious emails, strange system behavior, or potential breaches without fear of retaliation or embarrassment. A simple reporting button in email clients or a quick success form on the intranet can significantly increase reporting rates. Just as important is how reports are handled. When users see that their input leads to action and that their caution is appreciated, they are more likely to remain vigilant. This creates a feedback loop where detection and prevention benefit from active participation rather than passive compliance. Developing role-based training programs ensures that content is relevant to each user's responsibilities and risk exposure. Not all employees need to know the technical details of malware payloads, but they should understand how to avoid malicious links or use secure file sharing methods. In contrast, system administrators or developers require deeper training on topics like secure coding, privilege management, and configuration hardening. Training for executives might focus on social engineering and high-risk targeting, as they are often prime phishing candidates. Tailoring content in this way keeps training meaningful, avoids information overload, and improves retention across the workforce. Security education should never be a once-a-year checkbox exercise. Ongoing education, including quarterly refreshers or micro-learning sessions, keeps best practices fresh and addresses emerging threats. Annual training cycles can be supplemented with short, timely modules on topics like a recent phishing campaign or an internal security policy update. Ongoing education is also valuable for onboarding new employees, ensuring they understand expectations from day one. Some organizations also require recertification or proof of knowledge through periodic quizzes or interactive content. This helps reinforce accountability and demonstrates that security knowledge remains current and applicable. Policy enforcement and acknowledgement tie the educational content to real-world responsibilities. Users should be required to read and electronically sign off on key security policies, such as acceptable use, password management, and data classification rules. Completion rates should be tracked and tied to system access or even performance evaluations. For example, users who do not complete required training might lose access to sensitive systems or be ineligible for promotions involving greater security clearance. These measures reinforce that security is not optional. It is an expected part of every job function. Understanding how detection and training content appears on the exam will help you approach questions with confidence. Expect to identify tools like intrusion detection systems, endpoint detection platforms, or UEBA solutions and match them to appropriate use cases. You may also be tested on how awareness programs reduce risk and improve reporting rates. Some questions may describe a scenario where a phishing email was reported and ask what should happen next or which training metric indicates success. Knowing the practical impact of both detection systems and awareness programs is key to choosing the right solution. Security training and detection strategies must also be coordinated with human resources and management teams. HR can include training in onboarding workflows and ensure that new hires complete security education alongside their employment paperwork. Managers play a critical role in supporting a culture of security. They should follow up with team members who miss training deadlines and ensure that lessons are integrated into everyday work. Leadership must also model good behavior, reporting suspicious messages, locking their screens, and maintaining secure habits themselves. When employees see that security is taken seriously at the top, they are more likely to follow suit. Despite best intentions, user awareness programs face challenges that must be acknowledged and addressed. One major issue is user fatigue. If training is repetitive, irrelevant, or overly long, users may disengage or rush through it without retaining key concepts. Another challenge is poorly designed material. Outdated videos, jargon-heavy slides, or inconsistent messaging can confuse users rather than educate them. A lack of follow-up after simulations or incidents also weakens the value of training. Users must understand not just what went wrong, but how to correct behavior moving forward. Programs must be evaluated regularly and improved to remain effective. Security is most effective when detection systems and user education work together. Detection tools like intrusion prevention systems and behavior analytics identify threats, while users serve as a real-time defense layer that can stop attacks at the source. A trained user who recognizes a phishing email or refuses to plug in an unknown USB drive is just as valuable as a system that blocks malware traffic. Education gives users the knowledge and confidence to make smart decisions, while detection systems serve as the safety net that alerts security teams when something still slips through. The strongest security posture comes from combining intelligent systems with informed people. Detection tools catch what users miss, and training ensures that fewer mistakes happen in the first place. Metrics help measure success, simulations keep people sharp, and regular updates make sure training evolves with the threat landscape. These principles not only appear frequently on the exam, but also form the foundation of real-world risk reduction in any organization. Use technology to detect, use training to prevent, and use both together to create a secure environment where threats are not just caught, they're stopped before they start. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Network Plus Prepcast, your trusted audio guide to the CompTIA Network Plus certification. This episode was produced by baremetalcyber.com. For more cybersecurity podcasts, books, and resources, visit baremetalcyber.com. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.